Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Sarah from the office, and I'm going to read to you today from How to Eat Fried Worms, Chapter 11. Billy pushed the frying pan towards Tom. Okay, Fink, if it's not supposed to hurt you, you eat a piece. Oh no, said Alan. He and Joe were lying on their stomachs in the hayloft watching. If he eats a piece, you lose, Billy. The bet was you were going to eat 15 worms, not you and him together. Billy didn't look up, his eyes fixed grimly on Tom. All right, then I'll go dig another worm just for him. He's so big, telling me, hurry up, hurry up. I can't wait around all day. Don't be a sissy. All right, now, I didn't say sissy, said Tom uncomfortably. I just said if the first 4 worms didn't kill you, this one wouldn't. I can't help it if my mother told me to be home by 2 today. She's going shopping, so I have to mind my brother. Yeah, said Billy. Okay, so we'll have time for you to eat a worm before you go. Come on, where's the shovel? Here, said Alan from the loft. We brung an extra today. A worm dangled squirming from his fingers. He dropped it to Billy. It's not cooked, said Tom. I'll do it, said Joe, scrambling down the ladder. He took the worm from Billy and ran out, then ran back and grabbed the frying pan. Tom sat down on an overturned pail to wait. He didn't want to eat any worm. It wasn't his bet. He glanced at the door creaking in the wind. Maybe he should make a break for it. Of course, he could see Billy's point. Billy didn't believe Joe's story, but still, he'd find it reassuring if Tom ate some worm too. He'll eat it, Billy said to Alan. If he don't, he's chicken, said Alan, after all his talk. Why don't I eat it, thought Tom. I mean, it's a yucky thing to do, but it wouldn't kill me. He scratched his neck, shifting in his seat on the pail. I don't know, thought Tom. I just won't, I guess. He gagged, imagining what it would be like to bite down on a soft, fat, boiled worm. He glanced at the door again. Billy kicked the door shut. Leave it open, said Tom. Why? Because I said so. Yeah, you don't own this barn. Neither do you. Your father does. Billy rubbed his nose, watching Tom, figuring he's trying to pick a fight so he doesn't have to eat the worm. Okay. Billy opened the door and set a brick against it. Tom shifted on his seat on the pail again. He couldn't stop thinking about what it would be like to bite down on a soft, fat, boiled worm. He scratched his ear. Who did Billy think he was, trying to order people around, telling him what they had to eat and all? Billy wasn't anybody's father. Tom began to feel put upon and indignant and stubborn. A screen door slammed. Joe coming back with the worm. Tom licked his lips. He heard Joe running across the barnyard toward them. Billy! Alan shouted. Billy spun around just in time to catch a glimpse of Tom pelting out the door banging shut. He flung to the window. Joe sprawled in the middle of the barnyard on his back. Tom was clambering over the wall into the meadow. The frying pan lay upside down beside the horse trough. Chapter 12. Look, said Billy to himself, staring down at the fried worm on the plate. Be sensible. How can it hurt me? I've eaten 4 already. Tom was just scared. He's like that. He eggs other people on, but he never wants to do anything himself. Give up, said Alan. Come on, said Joe. We haven't got all day. 5 more minutes, said Alan. Then I win. There's no time limit, said Billy. For the first time, he wondered what he'd do if he lost. Where would he ever get $50? But how could he eat 10 more? Big, fat, ugly, soft, brown things. But he couldn't ask his father for $50. He heard Alan and Joe whispering to each other. He's going to quit. Yeah, I knew he'd never make it when I bet with him. He talks big. Him and Tom are just the same, but they never do anything. Billy gritted his teeth, glopped on ketchup, mustard, salt, grated cheese, whatever was on the crate. anything, everything, then grabbed up the worm and tore it apart with his hands, stuffed it into his mouth, chewing and swallowing, gulping. Then panting, he reached out and wiped his gooey hands on Alan's trousers and grinned messily up at him and said, "There, 5." Chapter 13. That night, Alan asked his father to show him $50. After that, he couldn't sleep, tossing and turning in his rumpled bed. Suppose he lost? He could just see himself asking his father for $50, begging for it on his knees, tears streaming down his cheeks, and then at Thanksgiving dinner, cringing while all of his aunts and uncles and cousins roared over his father's story of Alan's bet. He slid out of bed and snuck down the carpeted hall to his parents' bedroom. "You gotta wake him, Mrs. O'Hara, you got to," he whispered into the phone. "It's an emergency. I got to speak to him." Pause. "I got a hoarse throat, Mrs. O'Hara. That's why I'm whispering. Please." Pause. "Gee, thanks, Mrs. O'Hara. No, I won't ever call again this late. It's... He waited, gnawing on his thumbnail. A board creaked down the stairs. He stiffened. Silence. "What do you want?" said Joe suddenly over the phone. "Geez, I was sleeping. You woke me up." "Joe, suppose I lose. My father never let me take the money out of my savings account." "I know he won't. You think I'll lose, Joe? Huh? Joe, tell me. Give it to me straight. Joe, I gotta know. I can't sleep." Joe sighed. "Look, I told you this afternoon. You got nothing to worry about. He's cracking. Sure, he ate that one today. Sure, he might." And that's the end of my telling you about how to eat fried worms. See you later, boys and girls.